Long game there. That was incredible from both sides here. Alireza with the win. Now we go into a Roy Lopez. Will we have a Berlin? No.
More of a classical Roy Lopez for now. And an anti-Marshall, not allowing black to strike out with d5 too early. White pushes the a-pawn instead. This is Jan's prep from his World Championship matches. He's played this ever since he was a kid. James, it looks like he's going to try and grind down Firouzja in some mainline opening theory.
Yeah, there's a lot to it too as well. He went d4. Wow, d3 was general. So how you play it. You can also play c3 too as well. But the natural, Magnus type of play: d3, knight b d2, knight f1, knight g3, and then knight h4, knight f5, all the regular stuff. But he played d4, making it a little bit different here in this Roy Lopez type of structure. So let's see what he follows up here. What is the plan? d6 is a backward pawn, so we do have something to strike with later with white with bishop f4. Knight b to d2, sorry, knight d2, and then rook a to d1 at some point, but a5 is hanging, so we got to be aware of that.
Yeah, this might be the moment to play rook to b5 and take that a5 pawn. He does a very Firouzja type of move. If he sees a pawn, an ambitious move, he'll play it. Now he should take it before it's defended by the white knight. And yeah, maybe Jan did rush a bit with d4, but he will get good compensation based on the backward pawn that you mentioned there on d6. Rook trade?
Yeah.
Probably.
See a pawn, take a pawn, right? Rook trade, knight c4, bishop f4, and I guess he defends with queen c7, rook d8. So the question is, does rook d1 work? And is it something we actually want at the end of the day? We are down that pawn, so we got to get it back at some point.
I'm surprised he's thinking, like, the alternative here to not taking rooks off the board is rook b1, but that just looks like a weird one. Like, the rook's really passive there, but maybe he thinks it will come out later to d1. But an odd time to think.
There's also maybe he's calculating queen b5. After rook takes, queen takes, knight c4, queen b5, and then bishop f4, rook d8. Obviously, knight takes d6, loses a piece, so bishop f4 is the idea to take this pawn that we're down. And then there it is. And then rook to d8, which defends everything. Still, I guess bishop e6. I guess you can take. Wow, he just allows it to be captured here.
Yeah, I think taking now would lose a piece because either the queens would come off and he'd lose his bishop, or he'd get skewered. Rook d1. Alireza is playing really well, it feels like.
I believe same. Rook d1.
Okay, rook d8 would be automatic here, although maybe contemplating d5 to break or not to break. What is the solution?
To break or not to break, that is the question, chat. d5 looks good. You take with the knight. With bishop d6. It's not a... I don't get my pawn back, David. I want my pawn back, David. Can you give me my pawn back, or like, I want my pawn back.
That's why Jan's better than me. He is willing to sacrifice pawns. I never do, ever. I think I was 12 years old the last time I sacrificed a pawn. Alireza did it in the first game. Jan's done it in this game. It's trendy. We commentated on the Hikaru match. He was down a pawn every game pretty much with white, but he still won come the end of that match. So it feels like that's just something about openings these days. You give a pawn, get something in return, positional advantage normally.
And there it is, d5 takes. David, I don't get my pawn back, so I'm kind of mad about this, David. This is not the position I wanted.
Not yet. Patience, young Jedi. Patience. Maybe eventually the a-pawn will become weak. Still takes a while to get there. It's an awkward position for Jan. It still feels like it's very nice and active, but if black gets a couple of moves, like h6, give the king some lift, and then rook d8, I just think the compensation runs dry. Black's going to play a5, a4. It could be game over if Jan isn't active, and there we go. He pushes the f-pawn. That's very active.
Love the active pieces, but I do not want to trade queens because I don't have that extra pawn. I mean, you could even see that's kind of risky, but f5, g4, g5, moving the queen away too at some point, but where is the question? Let's see. What's the time situation? Looks like 3-2, not bad. Okay.
And rook to d8 is met very nicely by queen takes d8, and although it's not a back rank checkmate, Maybe we just put that on the board. Alireza wants to play rook d8, but if he does, then we would see a catastrophe. Knight back to e8, met by a knight to d6, and overwhelming the knight, hitting the queen. GG's. So f4, not easy to meet it. h6, f5 will come. Maybe some more queen sacks in the air there. g6 just really weakening. This suddenly looks like a proper fight again.
Yeah, and after f4 here, I do want to play f5. I was looking at bishop d6 too to try to get rid of that bishop, but I don't have any. Black has no weaknesses, right? So it's the hard part is trying to create those or try to play on the weaknesses of your opponent, but there's nothing in the position. Maybe c5, obviously, but the pawn on c5 isn't easy to get to, especially with the queen and bishop defending. h6 is on the board. f5 hits the bishop. Where does he go? Do you want to give me the bishop pair? Probably not. Bishop c8.
Should run. Yeah.
He said, I got to give it up.
He does. Still no time to take your pawn back, James, because of c4 check discovery against the white king. But now he has a beautiful bishop. He doesn't need the pawn anymore. Queen f3. Fighting hard. Light squared control.
Okay, I don't have a good plan. So yeah, just kind of improve your position. Improve usually means moving pieces to better squares than what they're currently on. So yeah, improve my position. Rook e1, no trades. No trades.
Not yet, at least. Who would you take here, white or black? White with the bishops, black with the pawn.
Honestly, I like the activity. Okay, yeah, you have a pawn, but I don't feel that pawn. I really don't feel it. I love the bishop pair. And that's also, I remember that, usually having the bishop pair, even being down a pawn gives you that compensation. As you see, the eval bar is like very level, even though black has the extra pawn. It's more about the activity, and also the bishops just having both color complexes can give you that compensation for the pawn. I definitely like white more. I think it's just hard to create something without being, maybe g4, h4, and that's like really risky. But if you do get g5 in, it would be game over. h4, g5, and then g6 comes in. Like the bishop on c4 is an absolute monster.
Yeah, I agree. Like pushing the pawns there was quite attractive. He's blocked it with his queen, which looks a bit odd. Now black is maybe threatening to play a move like bishop to d6. If he can trade off one bishop, that's already big progress. I'm really surprised Jan's allowed this. Bishop to d6. Getting those dark squared bishops off the board.
There it is.
Wow.
And yeah, as you see, the eval bar jumps too as well. That bishop pair that you had, well, give me one of them, buddy. Give me one of them.
Jan makes a face. A bit of a shake of the head as well. I don't know if he just missed this one or kind of misjudged it simply. But suddenly, it's going to be hard to mate black. The bishop for black was such a bad passive piece, and it's traded off for a glorious piece. Suddenly, you could definitely imagine the queen's coming off and black winning an endgame with the extra pawn. But queen d6, still alive, James. Still a proper fight.
Still alive. Double question mark there. I guess he gets a pawn back. Is what he's saying or something? Oh, he does. Wow, look at that little trick. It was there because the d8 was hanging, huh? That's a nice little trick. That's crazy. He missed it, though.
He missed it. He should have been channeling your words. Give me the pawn back. But now he's traded off rooks without the pawn.
Yeah, now, of course, black is a clear favorite here. Just extra pawn. My king is somewhat even safer than white's king here. It's just a lot of air for white's king, but don't have enough pieces to really attack it at the same time, though. This is very nice. Very nice for Alireza here. Is he trying to go on a 2-0 here if he's able to convert this extra pawn?
Yeah, it's looking very, very good. Black can just dance on the dark squares now, like queen to c7, you can almost pre-move. And then the black king can poke its head out. The black knight is so strong. And yeah, I think he's probably at least 50% favorite to win this one. Shouldn't lose unless the clock plays a part again. James, it feels like Jan just so much faster than Alireza, but there we go. He's got to start using the fact he's always ahead on the clock. f6, he's trying to mix things up.
No, that's true. They also just talk about how much how in classical chess he's just instantly moving, right? So Jan is just a quick player. I love to see it here, and of course he's up on time, making Firouzja try to find the best moves here. With again a 1 second increment here, and Firouzja is down a lot of time here, playing on seconds now with the double pawns here. I think not that the worst is over, but that double pawn. Okay, you might have an extra pawn, but it's doubled, so feeling a lot better here if I am Jan.
Yeah. Also, the power of the h pawn long term could be quite annoying. Repeating the position, Alireza Maybe he needs to get out of this game. 3 seconds left. He's playing it on the edge, and there we go. Draw by repetition. Alireza panicking. Good save by Jan. He's on the scoreboard.